What's going on, guys? Xecil coming in with another cool video. Well, at least I like to think they're really cool, but who knows. Today I'm going to be going over a tank blunderbuss build. Now, I'm sure you've kind of seen a lot of experimentation with the blunderbuss, and a lot of people are probably going strength, full out, intelligence and strength on that, whatever mix. But I'm actually going to bring in the a pretty clutch tank build. And first I'm going to cover what I'm running, like as far as the abilities, me personally, what I run, and where I place all my points. And even though I'm on the PTR and I don't have the best in slot gear, it's not all rounded off and perfected, I don't even have super amazing blunderbuss, it's still a lot of fun. And that's what more so this build is about. It's not about being the strongest, most OP blunderbuss tank build. It's about being able to do the job of holding aggro, being tanky, and still assisting your teammates, while you as the tank get to have a little bit more fun. So let's dive in on that, and I'll go ahead and show you guys the kind of what I'm working with on this. Okay, so the blunderbuss is a really cool, it has a lot of really cool mechanics. It's a really cool weapon. And it reminds me a lot of kind of like playing Gears of War back in the day, if you guys ever played that. Super fun game, just running around blasting. So anyways, I started blasting. Like that's what I think of when I run this thing. So I do equip Carnelian in mine, as you can see, and I would definitely recommend the same if you're running the tank build. So I mean, the combo with mine, it really just depends, but I mean, I'll show you guys me running a part of the dungeon, and just kind of how I use these abilities. But we're just gonna start off. I'm running right now, since let me go ahead and show you. The gear is really bad that I'm running. It's pretty much full con, except like my chest piece's strength to kind of buffer out. I'm not running a whole lot of strength. If I didn't have to survive a lot more during these escapades, these expeditions, then I would probably run more strength. But right now I was just getting a feel for it, having a lot of fun with it. So running 53 strength, 383 con, and then just kind of take a food buff, whatever. Take the red pill or the blue pill, you pick. So under the blunderbuss, so you've got containment and chaos. I run a split kind of on this. I mean, and don't get me wrong, there are a lot of different paths you can take on this, but what I find to be really fun and just kind of crowd control while letting you just kind of jump around and attack and just constantly maintain that just engagement, that a lot of fun, instead of just sitting there holding your shield and doing some abilities or swinging your sword and stuff. You actually get to kind of get in there and just do your thing. So on the containment, first thing I run is Xecil Shrapnel Blast with a 13. This is also another thing I look at, are the cooldowns. I try to run abilities that don't have super high cooldowns. If I do, then I definitely go for the reduction in cooldowns, or something along the lines that's going to reduce my cooldowns. Just because if you're a tank, we already found out, like the Defiant stance and everything, you had to run reverse stab in order to get your cooldowns kind of sped up. So you can kind of do the same thing with this. I did start with like net shot originally, but I kind of just bounced back and forth. Just been having a lot of fun. So you can experiment with this, but I'm just going to show you guys what I have, and how well it's been working for me. So again, Xecil Shrapnel Blast, 13.2 second cooldown. Fire 5 shots in a horizontal fan in front of you while pushing yourself backwards. Each shot will deal 58% weapon damage. Every consecutive hit on the same target will deal 15% less damage than the previous hit. So it reminds me of Graves from League of Legends, if you guys are familiar with that. And that ability just kind of looks like Graves' auto attack. So really super short cooldown. Nothing too crazy on that. So when you pop that, you can kite back, reload. By the time you're bounce back again. So it's really cool as a tank. It's kind of like an engage, disengage. It's a little bit of escape. So that's why I really like running that. And then I go almost all the way down, So increase the range of this attack from 12 meters to 16 meters. Kind of give you that oof from a little bit further away. That way you can dodge abilities more so than just taking punches to the face. Because I feel like with the blunderbuss, what would be really cool is instead of running like refreshing ward, where you get hit and get cooldowns, just running flat CDR, or even doing a lot of evasive maneuvers and trying to, kite and maybe not go quite as tanky and deal a little bit more damage and get those speed runs going. So Discord, fire 4 additional pellets with each use of this ability. Okay, super helpful. Now here we go. Refresh. Each individual hit from this ability or from the blunderbuss primary fire will lower the cooldown of this ability by 1.5%. Remember what I was saying is that this blunderbuss is a lot of fun with cooldowns. So on this next one, I didn't like this one too much. And you're trying to get as evened out as much as possible. So if you notice, like if I had like one less, I'll explain it. Hold on. All right, so claw shot. This is an 18.9 second cooldown. Shoot forward a 4-pronged claw attached to a chain from the muzzle. The projectile will travel up to 14 meters and cannot pull you upwards more than 3 meters. If it connects to an enemy, it will deal 40% weapon damage and inflict root for 1 second before quickly pulling you towards them. A lot of fun with that one. Like freaking Spider-Man just swinging off of stuff, man. Just so much fun for PvE. The pull can be canceled by any ability use or primary fire. So you can pop it, right? And then instantly, cancel it out. So taunt gem compatible. This is the reason I run this as well. It's the taunt for tanking. So if you have a Carnelian gem equipped in your blunderbuss, this ability inflicts taunt for 4 seconds when it hits. I know it's not a very long taunt, but again, I'm running sword and shield as my primary. This is my secondary. You'll have plenty of threat, with this ability. So, and that taunt causes monsters to focus only on you. We know this for tanks. That's what we do. All right. Upon usage, restore 8 stamina every second for 10 seconds. So, what does a tank use besides health? Stamina. So that I just ran it straight down with that one. Pretty much, kind of, I don't really know how else to explain that. We all know we need stamina. So, all right, combat readiness. Landing a pellet, even if blocked. Cool, right? Pay attention to that. Landing a pellet, even if blocked, lowers the cooldown of this ability by 2% each. See how I'm just popping out those cooldowns? I love cooldown reduction. So much fun on a tank. And you just constantly get the. I know you're not doing a lot of damage, but I mean, you're a tank, so you can spec out accordingly and just have a lot of fun with it. The next one, mobile overload. Successfully landing claw shot will automatically grant 1 loaded ammunition. If you currently have 2 loaded ammunition, this will exceed the max cap and grant a 3rd. So right there, it's giving you an extra bullet, an extra loaded shell, right? Okay, so going back to landing a pellet, even if blocked, lowers the cooldown of this ability by 2% each. So again, whenever you're getting an extra shell, you're getting the extra pellets, which provide even more CDR. So that's what I was trying to cover on that. And then before we jump down to the bottom, deep load. The last shot loaded into the blunderbuss will do 15% increased damage. I mean, 15%, that's a lot. I mean, even if it's, 1,000 damage or 800 damage, I mean, that's a good percentage. I mean, I didn't really see anything else to run. I mean, again, you can kind of, whatever you want to do, you can do run and gun, future endeavors. I don't think that's, I mean, it's cool, but I don't know. I prefer a little bit more damage than the increased one stamina per pellet hit. Just seems a little bit much needed unless you're doing a lot of dodging. So, and then successful hits within 3 meters, which are going to be close anyways, grant fortify, increasing damage absorption by 10% for 2 seconds. That means, if you're up in their face and you're constantly hitting, in between your swapping over to shield, if you take any damage, you're going to be fortified. Before, it kind of goes hand in hand together, running blunderbuss with tank. This is how I'm looking at it. So, unload. The next shot fired within 6 seconds after triggering an ability will have 9 pellets instead of 6. This effect can stack up to 2 times. Again, back to the CDR. So that's pretty much the whole reason I'm running this containment the way I am. Like I said, CDR is just huge. Cooldown reduction, and more cooldown reduction. Alright, so now moving over to the Chaos Tree. First and foremost, using an ability reduces all other ability cooldowns by 4% of the remaining time. Cooldown, yeah baby. Alright, triggering an ability decreases all damage taken by 3% for 10 seconds. Stacks up to 5 times. Okay, that's 15% over 10 seconds. So stack that with your fortify and you know, just your armor that you already have. I mean, you're gonna be beefy, like super beefy with this blunderbuss. So what I normally do is, you know, I'll pop the claw shot, and then depending on what type of mod it is, you know, I'll use my blast shot and then bounce back with the Azov shrapnel blast, or actually blast them with the blast shot, pump 2 bullets in them or 3 shells depending on how many I have, and then use the Azov shrapnel blast to pump more damage out, back me up a little bit more, and then just, you know, swapping out my abilities as I see fit. And I'll show you guys some example play here in a little bit. So again, cooldown reduction on a roll, bite back. Every pellet that is a headshot reduces all cooldown by 0.5%. More CDR. You're a utility tank at this point. All this cooldown reduction. So now, don't get me wrong, it's the splitting grenade and mortar charge, super cool abilities. But personally, in my opinion, they're more for, like, I feel like that's more for mobile damage, pumping out more damage. You can, like I said, you can do a lot of different things, but I'm all about CDR, having fun while being, you know, utilizing your actual, you know, your role. So, buckshot, deal 10% increased damage to any target as long as you have not damaged them in the last 8 seconds. So normally what you can do is, you know, as a tank, you're going to be taunting certain mobs, and then you're going to be aggroing them all if you can, depending on, you know, what spot in the dungeon you are or whatever you're rolling through. So I feel like you kind of get the bounce between enemies and constantly get them taunted. So you're going to be able to just change targets and acquire new targets every single time. And I feel like this buckshot's actually going to come in handy. Artillery, direct damage from abilities is increased by 15% if the victim is 10 meters or further away. Well, increase the range of this attack from 12 meters to 16 meters for your shrapnel blast. So you have a higher chance of proccing this artillery. So you, getting that, you know, damage from abilities by 15% is increased by 15%. That kind of goes hand in hand. That makes sense. Now, moving over to the other ability, Blast Shot. This one's super cool. Blast immense wind out of the blunderbuss, knocking down any target immediately in front of you. Blast Shot deals 70% weapon damage. Somewhat of a higher, you know, cooldown for this one. However, stacking all the cooldown reduction that we already did, this one, Blast Shot, is pretty much like running, you know, a hammer ability where you flatten them or clear out, you know, whichever ones that you like to run. And it pretty much just, you know, flattens them out. So, and then with that cooldown reduction, you know, it just works perfectly. Now this one's super cool, and this is why I run this. Preparation. Blast Shot applies rend, increasing damage applied to all targets affected by this ability by 20% for 6 seconds. That's huge. Like I said, you're pretty much replacing your hammer. If you're applying rend and everything with them, you're replacing it with the blunderbuss. Sword and shield first, and then blunderbuss second. I'm telling you, this thing is so much fun. I've gotten to the point where I'd rather play PTR at this moment until this thing comes out to the full release, because it's just so much fun. Dungeon's hard as hell, don't get me wrong, but you know, I can't wait to get my other stuff. So, but yeah, Blast Shot applies rend, the damage applied to all targets. You're gonna help out your teammates with this one, and you know, you're still swapping back and forth to your sword and shield. Okay, so kind of just want to cover back over that. You know, stack your abilities however you want. I personally kind of play it like League of Legends, using my my greatest ability, in my opinion, is gonna be the kickback, the shrapnel blast, the one that knocks me back. 13 seconds. Flash whenever you flash in League of Legends. So when you proc it, it's gonna pull you in. So it's like a dash. F is kind of flashing in, and then Q is just, you know, like a stun, which normally, you know, a lot of champions in League of Legends, Q would be like a stun. Not all of them. A lot of them might be different abilities, but that's kind of just how I play it off of. And then the cool thing is, you know, when you're propping these abilities and you swap over to sword and shield, you know, it just works. Like, you know, you tank the major incoming attacks with your sword and shield, and then you pop out your you know, you're able to just, it's just so much fun. I mean, and stamina regen would probably be really great for this one, so where you can dodge and constantly be proccing, and just, you know, you're gonna be able to be like more utility based. Maybe not have to be quite as tanky, because you are gonna dodge a lot of hits with this build, having a lot of mobility, escape, and everything, and just kind of that crowd control with that. So, and I'm gonna guys go ahead and slide you over to some gameplay, and just kind of let you guys see, you know, how I like having fun with it. So just kind of showing you the funness of this. I mean, I'm not saying it's a perfect kit. It's by no means by the best tank build out there. I mean, it's always going to be great axe, sword and shield with Warhammer, you know, any of those, just because of the actual amount of CC, until you get this down pack. Again, you know, I wasn't saying, you know, I was just kind of figuring out what I liked, what I didn't like, kind of just spamming it, just having fun. And so I mean, with that, kind of go ahead and show you guys. So, you know, you get to pull yourself to them, you dodge. I always try to hold my sword and shield out, swap back and forth, back and forth. This wouldn't have worked before the before the updates. So he goes down. Try to grab that aggro real quick, defiant stance, and then tank him with the sword and shield, and then just, you know, pop it out here in a second. Start blasting, man. It's just so much fun. Like, you feel like you're actually getting to kind of do something instead of just block 24/7. And I mean, the cool thing is if you get hit, it doesn't really matter. I mean, as long as you don't die or go down, you'd be a-okay. So, but right here, like when enemies are really far away, it's so much fun, especially this big dude. Whoop! You're like ziplining straight to him. Get to swap over to that sword and shield, pop defiant stance, maintain that aggro. Now, I mean, I still do use my sword and shield a lot for tanking. I mean, that's just kind of goes with the kit. That's just where you kind of get to throw in some, you know, DPS there. And once I get this figured out, I'm sure I'll be able to roll a little bit more damage and get comfortable with it. But we're all under geared for this dungeon, so dodging. Getting my ass beat. Plus, I think everybody else is kind of experimenting with the blunderbuss in this, or at least one or two, including myself. So you just get to spam out some abilities and take hits while you've got a shotgun in your hand. Good old shield, doing what it's best. Does best. And me just tanking this tall tree to the extreme. Let me swap over to that. see what. Plus, you know, I'm still learning the boss mechanics and everything on these, or mini boss, or whatever you want to call this guy. Yeah, you like that shotgun, bro? Huh? It's like as soon as I pull it out, he's like gonna swing the hammer at me. Yeah, I messed up on that dodge. Like I said, it's a little rusty. Have a lot of work to do. Kind of getting that rhythm in. Everybody's under geared. Your score is so low, and it's just not like an OP run through. Plus, this dungeon's, you know, not extremely hard, but it's definitely harder than the other ones. So, and not to mention, even though I'm running that much con, I only have like 13.5. So, was it 13,537 health? So, not really tanky per se, like I would like to be running a blunderbuss, but sometimes the hits don't register, like, you know, gotta work on that a little bit. But I mean, you're pumping out a little bit of DPS with this thing, so no idea where I'm going. But I mean, as you can see, you can pull yourself in with the grapple. You can, you know, flatten enemies that aren't like, you know, I guess bosses and stuff with the that blast shot or the air blast, and then just the wave of bullets, the pellet blast. Call it the Graves ability, but you know, it's a lot of fun. Just try it out, and then I'm sure you guys maybe you haven't even jumped on the PTR yet. Maybe you're waiting until, you know, it comes to the live version. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun. People might, you know, there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be like, oh my god, you're tanking with the blunderbuss, it's so bad. But as long as you know, build accordingly and get your rhythm down and figure out what works best for you, and you stay alive, and you're not constantly going down running the blunderbuss as a tank, your teammates really, they shouldn't mind that too much. But if you're constantly going down and you're not really playing the role of a tank, yeah, I would get pretty aggravated too. But like I said, you know, run a lot of con with your good gear and just have fun with it. I'm telling you guys, it is a ton of fun, especially for playing. I've been playing tank for like 2,000 hours in New World, and this was like a refreshing breath, a breath of fresh air whenever this thing came along, and I realized I had a taunt on it, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be so much fun. And it's just, you know, lots of fun. So I mean, taunt, flatten these enemies. Yeah, let's so it flattened her. Those headshots. Taunt. My aiming was really bad. I had to adjust my sensitivity for this. And you always get to swap back over to your sword and shield, and that's all reliable. Let's see, you're pumping out decent damage. I mean, I know it's not a ton, but poor Shadow over there. That guy, I felt bad for him. I was like, all right, let me tank my shield while I'm kind of low. Taunt her again. So, trust me though, give it a try. See what you guys think about this build. Slot things accordingly, but if you're running it with tank, I definitely suggest running CDR, just because you're not dishing out a lot of damage, so you can't rely on just your pump action blunderbuss. So, but leave a comment, and let me know what you guys think about the build if you try it, or just let me know what you think about the blunderbuss period. I want to see what all the aspects of it, running strength, intelligence, running full DPS, bruiser, or full tank if you've tried it, and see what what kind of build you came out with. And I definitely want to see all these and give them a shot and see how they work out. So I'll let you guys watch the rest of this one, and then kind of go from there, guys. He's taking care of me, man. Nothing too fancy. I don't even think I've barely used it. Yeah, he's beating the brakes off of me, as they would say. Huh. All right, guys. you know the deal. You know the drill. Leave a like, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and then as always, if you like the content that I do produce, subscribe and tell your friends. And I really appreciate the support and all the love I get from you guys. It's I couldn't ask for better fans and better subscribers, if I dreamed of it. So thank you so much. And as always, Xecil out.